Now to our major story tonight. On Tuesday, President Buhari presented an 8.6 trillion naira budget, tagged the budget of consolidation. All eyes are now on the National Assembly to do their part of the job, as it's always been the trend in Nigeria in recent years. It's one budget, one drama. You remember the House of Reps member Abdul Mumin Jibrin, I'm sure, and the scandals that greeted the passage of the 2016 budget. While a new word was even added to the Nigerian fiscal vocabulary, that's padding. The 2017 budget did not pass without its own fair share of drama. There was the missing budget, the padding and insertions. A senator's house was even raided. Well, so let's fast forward. With the 2018 budget, we hope all Nigerians can put all of this behind. But what are the realities of the new proposed budget? How does the number affect you? And what is the politics behind the figures? How ready are the lawmakers to deliver effectively and on time the task before them? On the program, Chris Azubogu is the Deputy Chairman, Appropriation Committee of the House of Representatives. He joins us from our Abuja studio. And I also have Ken Okolubo, a policy analyst and a member of the PDP here in our Lagos studio. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the program.
It's always my pleasure.
Well, let me start with you, Honorable Azubogu from Azubogu in our Abuja studios. 2018 is a very crucial year for the Buhari administration. It's going to be a year of campaigns ahead of the 2019 election. And there's a very tight deadline for the passage of this 2018 budget for the National Assembly. How prepared would you say the National Assembly is? What strategies are in place so things can be done speedily and the budget can be passed and also assented in good time?
Thank you very much. I want to tell you that the National Assembly will always, as usual, do their work by making sure that the budget is passed at the right time with all the necessary attention that it requires, because the important thing is that budget process or budget approval process must be followed, and there are sequences of going that. It's not just a garbage in, garbage out thing. The National Assembly will carry out her constitutional mandate to ensure that all the things, just like you mentioned earlier, the politics behind the figures, that the balance that is required, that all the projects that are contained in the estimates are looked into properly and scrutinized to ensure that the Nigerians will actually get the benefit they deserve. So the important thing is that because democracy have made it so, spread rule of law, that National Assembly will ensure the fast passage of the budget. But they will do their work properly to ensure that Nigerians are not shortchanged. Because if we don't do it, if anything happens at a later time, the Nigerian populace will hold us responsible for not doing our work. But I want to assure you that every cooperation needed, even as assured by Mr. President during the presentation, will be received. And you had the speech of the Senate President and that of the Speaker, and that of Mr. President himself. You see that there is a cordial relationship between the two arms of government, and the interest of Nigerian people will surmount every other thing. So we will do our work as contained in the Constitution, and we will make sure that all that is needed to be done is done.
Okay, Honorable Azubogu, let me ask you now. There were some concerns raised by some of your colleagues when the letter of the planned presentation of this budget by the President was read at plenary by the Speaker. The executive says issues have been ironed out. What were some of these concerns raised by your colleagues, and have issues truly been ironed out?
Which of the issues are you talking about?
There was a mild row.
Can you come up
there was a row on the plenary when the Speaker read the letter stating that the President was going to come and present the budget proposal.
But the Speaker rightly said that it is a constitutional duty of Mr. President to lay the budget at any point in time in the year, as provided by the Constitution for the Constitution of National Assembly.
Yeah, but
other things that will follow will be as contained in the rules of the House.
Yeah, but the question is, could you elaborate on some of the concerns that were raised that day when that letter was read by your colleagues who were against his presentation of the proposal?
The concerns they raised?
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't an official concern. I mean, it's a side talk. generally, more people are considering about mentioning the issue of non-implementation of 2017 budget, because it is part of the process for you to consider a new budget, is to consider the last 18 months of already passed budgets. So it's something that is normal. But it's a process, and all of them can go together. So I'm assuring you and Nigerians that the process will take a normal route.
But there was also, Honorable Azibogu, there was also a planned protest, even when the president was coming to present this budget on Tuesday, before things were doused.
Which protest?
There was a planned protest.
There was a planned protest. Not to my knowledge, anyway.
All right.
Not to my knowledge. There wasn't. It was a very colorful event. Mr. President entered into the chambers, and all through the time he presented the budget, everything went well. And I don't think, I mean, if we're in democracy, people are allowed to express themselves. But that does not amount to anything, though. And I want to assure you that we are all patriotic Nigerians, and we'll do what is good and what is needful for the progress and growth of Nigeria as a nation. Okay,
you are the deputy chair of the Appropriations Committee. Some of your colleagues have lauded this budget proposal. They say it's very realistic, but some are not too pleased. They say it's too optimistic. What do you make of this? Is it one house? And do you think it's going to be a seamless process for passage?
I want to let you understand one clear fact. We are in a democracy. People will express themselves, and these are the things that are needed. Both the critics, both who are speaking for or against, are all important in this process before a final decision will be made. So people it's too early in the day to say what is contained in the budget, that we've not gone through all the details of the budget. It is when the National Assembly have gone through the second reading on the budget and committed to committees, and they will go and scrutinize and engage the MDAs that are concerned. Then all the issues that will crop up, that will also follow maybe the oversight functions of the standing committees to the extent of the implementation of 2017 and other years, because there is not only 2017. They said the law is specified the past 18 months. So when you go through all those things and see the level of implementation that has been done, considering the special circumstances we are in now, maybe based on low revenue, based on recession and other things. But when we look at it and look at the proposals and the estimates that are being proposed by the executive, we will be able to engage them, do the needful, and find out what the situation is. And I can assure you, it will all come out for good, because we're all going to make sure that we deliver what is good for the Nigerian people, knowing fully well that the 2018 budget appropriation bill is coming as a pre-election budget. And it is important to both the ruling government, everybody in government, and to Nigerians, because that will be a major parameter to measure the effectiveness or efficiency or the progress that has been made within the government.
Okay, just a moment, Honorable Azibogu. Let's come to our Lagos studios where Mr. Kolubo is here with us. Ken, with the body language you see in the National Assembly, between the National Assembly and the executive, in recent past we had one budget, one or two dramas have ensued. Do you think the National Assembly is ready for a seamless passage of this 2018 budget?
Well, first of all, it's obvious the budget has started on a very wrong foundation. Why do I say this? The medium-term expenditure framework, which basically should precede the presentation of a budget, has not been considered by the National Assembly. The Senate and the House of Reps are supposed to have considered the medium-term expenditure framework and the fiscal strategy paper. These are very two key issues. If you don't consider the MTF and the FSB, what budget are you presenting? Now, the president has come with a benchmark of $45, which sounds a bit realistic when you look at the fact that today the Brent crude is selling at about $64. But what did he do? He brought out a budget of 8.612 trillion. 8.612 trillion is the projected budget. And we have a recurrent expenditure of 3.949 trillion. Let us just say 3.5 trillion. And a capital budget of 2.428 trillion. What does that tell you? What that tells you is that the deficit that we have already experienced in 2017, which he's supposed to have surpassed by 15%, has not only been mopped up, has been doubled. And so I find it funny, I find it very strange when some people who carry out voodoo economics, I did voodoo economics as an elective in school, quite right. It wasn't my main subject. But it is only practical that the fact that the 2017 budget has only operated for 6 months, and you're not carrying over a deficit of, a humongous deficit of that nature. I find it very worrisome. If he had allowed the National Assembly to consider the medium-term expenditure framework, it would give them a stronger view of all those areas I have pointed out. Today, you are aware that Moody has downgraded our issuer rating, our sovereign issuer rating,
just
to B2 from B1.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
We'll continue with the conversation when we take this break. When we come back, we'll continue our analysis and our insights. Stay with us.